working. Hi, we are here with Yandra, who is a person who is a health and nutrition student for Brooklyn College, and we're going to discuss with her for a few minutes about some of the Mexican culture that she's familiar with, and get to know her a little bit better. Okay, Yandra, how are you today?
Very well.
Good, good. How was your day?
Good, very good.
Very nice. Okay. Could you tell us where you are originally from and how many years did you live there?
Okay, I'm originally from Mexico City. I lived there 27 years of my life. So recently moved to New York 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So I married and I moved here.
Oh, very nice. Okay, and what was the typical diet or food that was commonly consumed within this community?
Well, it's a large community, almost 30 million people now.
Wow, 30 million people.
That's a lot. So Mexican food is very regional. In Mexico City, it has its own cuisine.
Yes.
And the typical one is very meat-based.
Okay.
With very specific kind of spices and ingredients.
Okay. What kind of spices?
Well, you can find things like from mole to different types of sauces made with different types of peppers.
Spicy?
Very spicy.
Oh, that's nice. I like spicy.
Yeah. And a lot of complementing with fruits, vegetables also.
Okay.
But I would say that it's very heavy on meat in general.
So there's a lot of protein.
Yeah, a lot of protein.
You basically mostly on the beef side or chicken or sausage?
Well, I was raised being a vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
My household was a big exception.
That's a few questions away.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, that was my next question. What kind of foods or diet was consumed within your household?
Yeah, well, in my
There you go.
household, it was a very different household.
Okay.
My mother was highly criticized by the grandmothers because they were really concerned that we were not eating enough protein.
So they say you were starving you to death.
Yeah, exactly.
You're too skinny.
No candy, no candy, no sugar. So basically, when I grew up, it was kind of difficult. My mom was one of the pioneers in vegetarian movement in Mexico City.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
she's very brave.
you're very brave. So she saw the benefits of not eating meat in her own health. So she tried to implement that in our household. So for years we were vegan, macrobiotic, Ayurvedic. So whatever she was studying, basically that's what was happening in my household. But yeah.
Okay, that is really interesting. Let's see. Were there any similarities between the two, the diets in the community and within your household?
Well, as I was telling you at the beginning, Mexican food is very it's based on a lot of spices, and basically you can cook anything with meat but with vegetables. Or with other kind of meat substances like tofu.
All right.
That's something that you can do.
So basically, your mom used the same spices, but she used it like in a vegetarian setting.
Yeah, and I just remember something that was major in my house was gluten.
Oh, gluten.
Yeah, like I think probably I'm not sure pronounce this great. Seitan meat.
Okay.
Like when I was a kid, it was a tedious job. Like we have to make it from scratch because it was not like these days that you can go to a store and buy that. Like we grew up without like all the vegetarian cold cuts or like the vegetarian hamburgers. Like we have to make everything from scratch.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Where did you find all these ingredients?
Seitan is basically made of flour, wheat flour, and the rest is like the protein of the wheat flour. So we have to make like a thick dough and then wash it until you get the protein
a lot of
Yeah,
work.
it was a lot of work.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. How many kids did you have?
We were 4 girls.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So everybody had a job.
Yes.
One did the kneading, one did the washing.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting back to the complementary alternative medicine camp, what form did your mom practice?
Well, she studied what is known in Mexico as a naturopath doctor, which
Okay.
is not necessarily a doctorate or
Okay.
like a doctor per se, but it's a person who's trained for years to work with food as a way of medicine. So
Oh.
basically, you treat people with food that will help them to heal certain things. So usually the type of patients that she will have, they're like terminal, very ill people that they already went to the doctor. Doctors gave them no hope, and basically they were to the mercy of
Wow.
whatever they could find as an alternative.
Hmm. And how was the response from the community that you lived in? Was there a big response to this type of treatment?
Yeah, actually, yes. My mom, she, as I was saying, she was one of the pioneers of all
Wow.
this movement. And the clinic where she used to work, I think that she would give seminars every weekend to invite new people. And I can remember going almost every Saturday or Sunday with her, and I would say from 50 to 150 people. It was a big auditorium there, so sometimes, yeah, depending on the weekend, but yeah, a lot of people will go as an alternative to try to heal themselves. I think that Mexican population in general, they are very open to alternative medicine because we come from a very large tradition of herbolaria medicine used by the indigenous people. So it's a combination between Eastern medicine, more modern medicine, and all these remedies like, I don't know, like chamomile tea for your stomach, or drink this kind of tea to help you with your kidney stones and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like the belief there.
That is so great. What was your part? What did you do with Mom when she went out and let's say she interviewed somebody and they had kidney stones, and did you come along and help out?
No, well, I was very little, and it was more like a formal medical clinic kind of setting. So I remember I will be there when she will be giving like this hour seminar, and then I will be waiting outside with my sisters and just playing around, and yeah, so we will I was very little.
What about your sisters?
My sisters, well, actually my mother had 2 vegetarian pregnancies.
Okay.
One, she was totally vegan. The other one, she was just ovo-lacto vegetarian.
Okay.
So I carried the vegetarian diet since I was 3 until I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And then I left home and I tried meat. I like it.
Me too, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I don't eat it enough. I married a vegetarian person.
You did?
Yeah, so I went back.
All right. So let's focus on holidays. Name some of the holidays that were commonly practiced in Mexico.
Well, pretty much the same holidays, same here, Christmas, New Year's. We have a really nice holiday that is called Dia de Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead.
Right.
So it's a day that we honor our loved ones that they are already not here. And it's a really beautiful celebration. It's 3 days, one for the children, one from the adults, and the third one I don't remember. But you make an altar and you cook the typical Mexican food that your loved ones used to like.
Okay.
And there is the belief that they get permission at the end of the night, and they come back to Earth to enjoy human pleasure, so they can drink tequila. Like you can eat your altar, like it's a bottle of tequila, and this special bread, and the food that they like, the candy they used to like. So.
And what was your role in the preparation of these holidays?
Well, usually, when I was a very young kid, I would just watch my grandmother, and it was really beautiful because we would have really, really nice conversations. I was not very active until I was like in my 20s, that I really wanted to start learning how she cook certain things, and I have to confess that until I moved here and I didn't have the grandmother next to me, I was calling her, hey grandma, how do you do this? How you do that? So she will give me the recipes, but I had to watch her so many times that it was very like immediately, and I was able to cook. I'm able to cook a lot of things that she used to cook.
That's good. And name some of the foods. Oh, you actually did that. You had already named some of the foods that you ate during the holidays.
Yeah, well, some of the foods, and they're not typical from here. Well, we for Christmas and New Year's we do something that is like bacalao, which is with codfish.
Yes.
And it's more like this is one of the cool things about Mexican cuisine, that it fuses a lot with Spanish food. So this is more like a tradition from Spain, but it was carried out to Mexico. Also, we do another thing that is called romeritos, which is a combination between mole with this kind of like it's a plant that comes from the amaranth family.
Okay.
So it's really nice, very tender. It's a lot of work because you have to wash it and clean it. So you mix that with potatoes and you make these small little tortas that they're like patties made of shrimp powder. So you mix all that. Also, we have the typical turkey. Yeah, with annatto paste. So it's really nice. Like it's very big on Mexican food. Something that we don't celebrate is Cinco de Mayo. That's an American tradition.
Okay. So now we know about that.
We don't.
Okay. And these foods, do they have any significance as far as the holiday goes? Like, in America, bread is a staple, and it signifies the body of Christ. Is there anything that rings a bell for that?
Well, I guess that it's more about this feeling of feeling yourself closer to home.
Okay.
Like I remember the first 4 or 5 Christmas that I spent here, I didn't really crave for this food. But now I try to make them for Christmas or New Year's as a part of my culture. Even that my husband, he's not Mexican at all, and he loves that. In Mexico, I don't know, it's like, I think that it would be within my family, it would be hard to spend a Christmas not preparing certain kind of dishes, which is really interesting because half of my family is from the Caribbean, the Yucatan Peninsula. Half of my family is from Mexico City, and I remember when I was growing up, the type of foods that they have their own regional cuisine.
Right.
So what you will be eating for Christmas, New Year's, Easter in Mexico City, you will not be eating the same in the Yucatan Peninsula. So that's something really interesting.
So there was a difference between.
Absolutely, and
Okay, how did your family encourage you and your sister, your brothers too?
4 sisters. 4 sisters.
With me. Had to carry on these traditions from generation to generation. Was that a big thing in your home, that, this is what we do in the house, and this is what you're going to do with your kids, and their kids, and their kids?
I don't think so.
That wasn't a big thing.
No, well, I think that it was more the grandmother who will encourage that. My mom, I don't know, I think that we assume that the next generation is going to cook the traditional meals. We don't have like for example, my husband's family is half German, half Greek. They have even a cookbook that they have put together with all the recipes from the grandmothers, and it's amazing. In my household, I think that I want to start that tradition. I want to encourage all my cousins. I have like 30-something cousins.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I want to collect all the recipes from my aunt and put together a cooking book for the family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's creative. Okay, after you left Mexico, where did you move to?
New York City.
Okay, so you've been a resident here for how long?
8 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And since you've come to the United States, and more specifically New York City, how has your diet changed?
Well, as I was telling you, I married a vegetarian, so I didn't fall really far from the street. So we don't eat any meat at home, and I never cook meat at home.
Okay.
If now I don't consider myself to be a truly vegetarian. I would
Okay.
say maybe I consume meat 4 or 5 times a year, but I have a rule. Let's say that, for example, you're my friend and you tell me, I just made my grandmother's recipe and I would love you to go with me to my to invite you for dinner. I absolutely would eat whatever you cook for me.
Okay.
Like I don't like to go out and order meat, but
Mhm.
if other people, I
Right.
just appreciate so much the
Okay.
time that people put into cooking that I would do that.
All right.
Yeah, but my diet, well, I think that I have find a lot of new ingredients,
Okay.
a lot of new vegetables, which is for me cooking is super fun. Like
All right.
I'm always creating things. I have learned to follow recipes. I didn't used to, but now I do.
A lot of people don't follow recipes.
Yeah.
My grandmother's generation, I think she doesn't.
Yeah.
She did a pinch of this and a
Yeah,
squirt
pinch
of
of
that,
it, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So, but I think that learning the basics of like I have incorporated a lot of Middle Eastern food.
Yes.
Like today I made baba ganoush and hummus at
Oh, I
home.
love that.
Yeah, I love making things from scratch. I make my own yogurt. Like yeah, a lot of things.
And so, do you feel more or less healthier in yourself since you're not 100% vegan,
Well,
or worse?
yeah. Well, my husband is ovo-lacto vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I'm pretty healthy. I could be healthier if I did not eat dessert. It's hard in my household, but
I
I'm
know.
trying. I'm trying. But yeah, I think that our diet is very plant-based, and I try to have a good balance with plant proteins and
So you basically have kept pretty much to what the traditions and the food ways of your childhood,
Yeah.
with the exception of having meat occasionally.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Since you've been in the United States, and have you found it difficult to find different ingredients or spices that are common within your community back home?
Well, that's a really interesting question. Most of the Mexicans here in New York, they
Okay.
come from a state that is called Puebla, and they have their own cuisine.
Uh-huh.
So most of the ingredients that you can find Mexican ingredients is from that specific area. So finding things from Mexico City or the Yucatan Peninsula is really hard.
Mhm.
So every time that someone comes, I ask them, can you bring me this or that?
You
So
import it.
exactly. Like for example, I always ask for like a good mole from Oaxaca or
Mhm.
things like that. There are certain spices very specific just from the Yucatan Peninsula that it will be impossible to get them here. So when someone travels, yes, I get them. But like basic things like to make dishes like pozole, which is like a hominy soup.
Okay.
You can find them. There are a lot of Mexican bodegas actually around Sunset Park
So
here in
you shop
Brooklyn.
around Sunset Park.
No, actually, I am a member of the food co-op.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the
Okay.
food co-op. So when I want something very specific,
Mhm.
I will go there, but maybe that's twice a year. Like we really don't. Like I don't think that I put a lot of Mexican spices in my food
Okay.
unless I want to cook something really Mexican, like very authentic Mexican.
Okay.
So the other thing is like a mix of everything you can imagine.
So that touches on my next question. How do you overcome this? And as you just mentioned, you kind of ask people that are coming over from the old neighborhood, bring some mole or something like that, and then sometimes you check the food co-op
Yeah.
and see whether or not they have something that you can use.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Cynthia.
This was a very interesting interview, and I've learned plenty about the Mexican culture and the different food ways that you have. And I really appreciate you having this interview with me.
Thank you, Cynthia.